see, basically in the macros, these tools are used. Okay. And what iteration macro is, where we have a control parameter. So there the control parameter was actually having some problem. And what happened if, let's say, you are inserting a macro now. So here, let's suppose if I created some macro, let's say I have some macro or something. So let's say if this is one of my macro na, so maybe like here I have just changed the symbol for the macro. Okay. Let's say if I go here and I click on interface designer. Okay, I'm not able to show you here actually. I'm so glad. So actually, what happens is that you have a setting over here. Maybe some like there might be some problem of like, let me open a workflow where I have also created a map. Okay, so now let's say if I have this interface designer, let's say for this, like I have created a macro over here. Okay, so if I open this now and let's say I
Yeah, tell me one thing, Ishani. The
see,
macro is the compressor code.
macro is a
Compressor code is a zip format
so
like that.
no. It's not a zip format. Actually, see, here I have make a custom icon. Okay, just look around if there is some custom icon, or if you have these standard icons like these, like this type. If there is a macro now, you see these type of icons, or maybe sometimes people use custom icon also, like the way I have used over here. So check around this because I am sure you'll find it. If he has mentioned comments now, so you'll pretty much find that macro and look around because that macro is creating some problem. I think the macro has looped out the iterations what the person was giving. So I think that's why there is an issue with it. So you can check it. You have a workflow, right? So you can
I
just
will
have a
I will
just
verify once again.
yeah, just read around those comments. You'll probably find it. You'll
Okay.
probably find it in the macro. Or if there is a macro in your workflow, now you can also go over here and you can check over here also if there's a macro or something which is being assigned. You'll obviously see over here in this constants. Now you'll see there will be a version of a
Okay.
macro or something which is there. In fact, when you open a package workflow also, now you get to know that there is a macro installed in it. I don't know. Like whenever you open the workflow, like the your package workbook, so there also sometimes it shows that a macro has been there. So I think that macro is creating some loops issue. So that's why maybe that issue is there. You can probably check it. I think you'll find it.
So that issue is not coming frequently. It is coming very rarely. So monthly, twice, thrice, the issue was happen.
Yeah, so that might happen because the loop actually is getting whatever the logic behind this. Okay, might be that failing or something, there is an interruption. So that need to be checked. That need to be like checked and like you have to match it again. So like what we say as re-engineering. So that we have to basically tracing back the
Okay.
issue. You have to actually look where the wherever it is like stopping on whichever tool it is failing, you have to trace back and see where it is actually on, like, let's say if this is one of your tool on which it is failing, so it will show an error that yes, ahead of this it has not moved. So you can trace it back that what's actually happened before that, that here it has stopped for what reason. You'll easily find out. And if there is a macro, na, let's suppose in any of them, if you will right click now, you'll have this option over here. Like I show you in my data, I have a macro. So, see, whenever you have a macro, na, if you right click na, you'll always have an option, open macro on that tool. So that means there's a macro. So just see over there on which tool actually it's getting like an error. So if you backtrace it and you'll find it out, so basically you will get it.
Sure, sure, Ifin. Thanks for your inputs. Definitely, I will once again I will look into it that one.
Yeah, actually, it's like happened because without like an error, na, I can't also tell. And moreover, it's like sometimes happens. Usually, we need to see like the workflow and look around. That's why it's like failing. So I have not seen the workflow, and obviously, it's your organization's workflow, so you won't have a right to share it with me, or neither present it to me. So I guess you have to check that. Okay, so that day we were completed with the preparation tools, and in the join tab also we were done with append fields and find and replace. So now let's move on to fuzzy match. Okay, now fuzzy matches, like a normal fuzzy matches basically that identifies rows similar to string value, like a almost match we say in Excel, simply an almost of a match. What we find out. So sort of that, which like a similar sort of a thing, not completely similar, but a sort of similar. That's a fuzzy match. So basically, fuzzy match. Rarely we don't use fuzzy matches because in organizations data, there will be a rarest of the rare chance that you will get some data where you have to apply fuzzy matches. It's always a similar match or an exact match or sort of thing. There's nothing a sort of a fuzzy match or something. But yes, we have a tool. We sometimes use it on the requirement basis. Like when I encountered only just a one project in which I have to use the fuzzy match. Apart from that, never. But yes, you'll encounter it whenever someone is creating like something based on getting a data based on like websites, based on the websites, or based on any maybe the industries like which are into the website tradings or on the website sellings or something. So they probably use the fuzzy matches a lot where they're using it because there is like or maybe the Google site or a search website. So they probably use fuzzy matches because there it is required also whenever like you type a word. So it would show you some similar types matched to it. So for example, like if you are searching for water, so it would show you like examples of water bodies, water bottles, like sort of that. So yeah, like the website development industries, the website selling industry, maybe the maybe your online shopping and stuff. They probably use these data probably uses the fuzzy matches, but the real time data where you have an accounts data or an audit data or something, that's very rarer of the rare that they use fuzzy match. I won't say that they don't use it, because I myself has worked with the audit data where there has been a fuzzy match which is being used, but it's very rare, like once in a blue moon, I would say. Okay, so basically, what's the fuzzy match is? What's in the fuzzy match in the configuration window actually? So we have two options over here. One is merge and one is purge. So purge is when you have to compare all the records with each other. In that, it would either have your similar extract or maybe the exact matches. So that's what we say about the mode. Okay, and there is another mode which is merge. So that would compare like from the different data source, like only the records which have a slight difference. So here in the purge, you will have a similar match also, and you can have an exact match also. Similar matches, like for example, Unilever Corporation Limited. So I can have Unilever Corporation Limited as C corporation as COR, like a full corporation and LTD, or I can have COR LTD like this. So there can be both the cases. Like I'll show you. So see, uh, this is basically your data. So for this name, Unilever Corporation Limited, this is my two matches. So Unilever Corp Limit and Unilever Corp LT. Okay. Or maybe you have another where let's suppose it is like this also, then also it would be considered as a match case. So this is what is called as your this is what is actually called as your purge scenario. Get it? This is what is actually called as your purge cases. This is actually the purge case where you can have the exact, you can have an exact match, like you can have the same match as is, and you can have a different match also. So I can get a similar name as well. Let's say I have this similar name. So this is also being called as one of the match cases over here. And if I want to like use it for a so this is something like similar name is also a match case, and a scenario where I have these type of thing. This is also a match case. So this is what is called as a purge mode when you comes in a fuzzy match and Alteryx. Okay, so it means an exact and a similar match also, and almost similar also. Okay, that's a purge. That's a purge mode. Merge only, it would have like a similar, like something which is comparable. For example, it would not consider this, but yes, it would consider this as a match for this one. It would not consider this section as a match for it, but it will show these as a match for it. So that's a merge mode actually in fuzzy matches. So we'll see around both of them how we work around. So I have this data where I have like transaction ID, then your transaction date, account holder's name and amount. Here I have some account holder names you can see. So now I'm applying basically a fuzzy match on a purge mode where I want to, in the record ID field, I want to look for the account holder names and I want to match for the account holder. So basically, this is what the match is that it shows. So there would be a column where I would have Wolfman Co. LLC. So this is also a match for this. So that's what a purge mode is. Now coming on to your merge mode, basically. The merge mode is also very similar, but it would give you like a source of a almost similar mode where we have that what it's getting like this. So this is what the difference between actually the purchase. It's works exactly same, and it's like a sort of an fuzzy match where you create whenever you want to find some similarities between some data where you don't have that much of like data where you can find the similar things. So there you can use fuzzy matches. But yes, fuzzy matches are I told you in which industries it's are basically used in a real time scenario. Okay. Any questions on this?
Uh, no, Ishani, once if you practice, na,
Hmm.
it,
Did you just was able to do those questions?
yeah, yeah, almost I complete partially.
Hmm.
So there is a 20% is left.
You can share that whatever you have completed so
Definitely, I
that
will
we
share.
can have. Okay,
First
fine.
four I did it. Last
Okay.
two, last two are very a little bit complexity, but because of maybe a few components I don't know, na, that's the reason. Maybe there is a gap.
No, no, not a problem. Whatever you have done, now just share it with me so that we can discuss in our
Okay,
session if you have any questions or something, na, so we can discuss around on that. So it's
okay, okay.
better. Okay, now we have join tools. So join is basically we are combining two data streams based on a common field of record. So here generally we have just an inner join, what I would say. There is nothing as called as a like you have three anchors over here. Okay. So this join would like a common on the basis of like any of the common IDs or any of the common field in the data. Based on that, if there is some combinations which is being combined, so then I'll get an report. So it's like sort of an inner join. If you want to see for the left join and right join, you can click on the left and you'll see what is the left join, and if you can click on the right, you can see what is the right. So like this, it goes on. This is what actually the join is over here. Here the inner join. So it's not what we actually do in our database. It's not the same as in our database because we have a join in our database as well. Like here, we have a join also. In our database also we have a join and it works similarly as there as we work in SQL. But this join is completely a matching of the columns. Like for example, if I have a data over here where I have the customer ID details, and here also I have the customer ID in first purchase date, and I want to pull for the particular customer ID, I want to pull the first purchase date respectively. So I'll just pull a join over here, and here I'll just click on the same columns like customer ID. I'll show you how. I think let's say this this one. Um, okay, now customer ID. On the basis of customer ID, I join and I'll just run it. So see, whatever customers were common in these two tables, in these two data sets, for that I've got my join data, my first purchase, as I changed that, the first purchase date or join date I've got for them. Okay, that's what the basically your join which has been created. Sorry. For this, I have got the first purchase date for these. Okay. These were the common IDs for which there was some dates which was in combination. If now I click on left, I'll see that this was an ID which was not available in this. So there was no match for it. And in the right, there were no customer ID, which is like left or something. So from the right, there is nothing left, but from the left table, there is one ID which is actually being left. So in this join now, we have two options. Either you can join by record position. So if you click on this and you create a join on the basis of a record position, you'll see based on the position of the records, it will combine. Like position in the sense like based on the columns or something, it would provide you with a join. But the issue with it is you have to be very careful with the positions. For example, let's say if in this table, the customer ID is the first column, and based on that, you are combining. So here also, it should be customer ID should be the first column only. If you have changed in either of the way, then it would affect the position and the join would be affected. So as it is based on the position, so I think from the left table also, there is only one which has been left like two because it has like combined on the basis of the position. That's why. So that's why it is not combined on the basis of a common ID or something, but it is just combined on the basis of a position. I've got some positions of data and it is just combined randomly. Okay. See, you can see there's a match like 41 and 1, 45 and this. So like number of records it has got 5 and here also the number of records are 5 so it has matched. But actually that's not matching. If you can see here that the customer ID differs. So it's like based on position. So we never do it based on positions whenever we want to join the records because that's not useful first of all because we are getting a wrong data over here whenever you're matching or something. We're getting a wrong purchase date for that because for 49 actually the purchase date was this. But here which is 21/8/2014 that you are getting 6/9/2013 which is actually the purchase date for the customer ID one. This. So that's something which is like based on position the records have been joined. So it's not a actual join. It's not a correct join actually. Okay. Now here in this you have this option of so we preferably do it based on the IDs and everything. Okay, like based on the common stream and everything. Now let's say over here you have some options. You can see you can select or unselect any columns, whatever needed for you. For example, like my right customer ID is something which is repetitive for me. I don't want this. So I can uncheck it and I can just run it. So next time whenever I see it, I would only see this much data. So my right customer column has been removed. You can change the data type. You can rename the columns. You can get the size changed or something. Here, one option is there which is unknown. Now, what happened is that what this unknown is, this is actually a dynamic or unknown field. So, what is this? Like, let's say today I have like 6 rows. Tomorrow, maybe I add up a seventh row in my data. Here, let's say here only I add it. Like, suppose I add let's say 456, and let's say the date of purchase is 2015, 9, and yeah. Okay, so this is my date of purchase. Okay, this I have added. Now when I run it, you see it has automatically taken this line which I have newly added my data. Why? Because I have clicked on this unknown dynamic or unknown field. For example, a field which is not known to it, or maybe a field which is new to it. So for that reason, if you have any like additions or something, so it acts as a dynamically, and it would add the new combination of data. For example, if I let's say uncheck this. So if you go on this now, right one, can see that there is no addition. So that's because there wasn't like a new column. So it makes it basically the work of it to make this function as dynamic. That's what it does. Okay. Let's say you update anything. Let's say you have any updations or anything in the data, or a new data has been added or something. So in that case, you can do it. So any questions on this, Joy?
No, Ishan.
Okay. So now moving ahead, we have join multiple. Okay. Join multiple is nothing when you have to like join based on multiple files, and there is a lot of files, like more than two files or three files. Then at that point of time, you use join multiples over here. So there is when you have like multiple files and everything. For example, here you have one file, then you have two files and three files, and you want to have a join of these files based on a common column which is name. So then you have this option of joining it. It works similarly like the join. It has also record position, join specific, and everything, and all these stuff. But so it's pretty much similar to what a join function is. It's just that you can have multiple files joining together. That's it. But yeah, in the anchor field also, you will not find here, as we are as we are joining like three to four data fields together now. So you won't find here like a left or a join and a right. There would not be a three anchors which is coming out as an output. There would only be a single output for it. That's like okay, all the files have been joined and it's done and dusted. That's what it shows actually. Okay,
Okay.
okay. Now we have a next section which is make group. Now what happens in make group? Make group is like matching into a group based on any of the relationships. Like making a group of it. Like for example, the first 10 files is being sectioned as group A. The next three files has been sectioned as group two, like this way. For example, I'll show you. For example, like I have Okay, so this is one group, which is group A, and this is one group, which is group B, like this. So this is what make group is like first six files for one group and next six files for the another group, which is there. Okay, so this is what we actually say as a make group function. Okay, over here. So this is based on relationships in Alteryx. What relationship is that? So for example, I have this data where I have a ID and this is key 1 and this is key 2. Now I'm going to have a make group option. So in this configuration, I have two options over here. First is what is the first key I want to use, like on which group I want to match with which group. So that there's a combination of the data. So I take as key A as the first and key B2 as the second, and based on that, it has created a group. So for example, you can see this was the key and the group is this. So how it find out? See, if you see for Boba, so Boba is with Java also, and it is with Django also. So this is one combination. Okay. Now, if you see for Django, now if I come, yeah, so like this. Now, for example, Luke is with Obi and Luke is with Han, but Han is also combined with Chivai and Han is also with Lando. So like these, that's what the combination goes on. Basically, like I would say, it's sort of a Cartesian join, sort of a key Cartesian join. You would say like this sort of a relationship. If you will see, so this is what actually the relationship goes on. Like for Boba, and like it is combined with the same, it is combined with different, and it is combined. So Jabo and Django, they were two with Boba, and Boba also combined with Boba itself. So this is how the group and everything is being created. So make groups generally we don't use until and unless we have like divisions of the data and we want to make groups based on some sections or some data or something based on any conditions or anything. We have like key relationship and we want to divide the files based on two groups basically. So that comes on when we like work with a big data and we have a lot of stack files and we want to divide them into a different stack of segments so that we have like group of divisions of data like okay 6 files for group A, six and the next 6 files for group B to process. Like at that point of time we have these divisions and we use make group options there. Okay. Any questions?
No, Shani. So all these components are a little bit tricky. Once
Yeah.
when once practice only, uh, dots will come automatically.
Actually, make group we don't use that much. It's
Yeah.
very rare. It's used very rarely. Like fuzzy match, make group, you'll use it very rarely.
Yes, yes.
In fact, join multiple also is used very rarely. It's not every time that you are using join multiple. It's
In
very
which
little.
we can use only join only or union.
Yeah, exactly. We generally use join and union because
Mm.
that's the rarest of the rare terms that you will use append, filter, find, and replace. But yeah, it's used at least for some times. But yes, fuzzy match and make group is like the rarest thing we use in this group. So I told you na, that in Alteryx we don't use like all of the tools ever. It's just we have to know about them, but it depends on what is the requirement. So based on that requirement, actually you'll get to know how you have to make that workflow, what all tools you will use, what is actually the logic. Because like for example, if you talk about make group, okay, so that make group I can do it also with the help of a formula tool as well. So I can write some conditions because someone is very much comfortable with like formula tools. So I can just simply write some formulas and I can give some conditions that if it contains these and these, mark it as group A, and if it contains these and these, or mark it as group B. So let's say, for example, similarly in this I show you that I divided them into two groups over here. So for this, I can write a simple condition in my formula tool that if the file number is from one is like greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 6, then it's group A. And if it is greater than equal to greater than 6 but less than equal to 12, then it would be group B. I can do with that also. So with formula tool also it is pretty much achievable. That depends on the person's comfort level with the tool actually. Somebody use this, someone use a something different level sort of a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So now the last tool of the section, which is the union. So what basically the union tool does, union is like combining of the multiple data streams based on common columns or on the based on the positions, and then it would be stacked vertically. So basically, it's like consolidating multiple files into a single file. That's what a union is in a very lame term, like consolidating multiple files in a single files. That's what union is. So let's say here you have one file and here is another file, and I'm combining, let's say, these two files. So in this configuration, you will see three options. Either you auto config by name, you auto config by positions, and manually configure fields. So first we come across is auto config by name. So what is auto config by name is, by name means like let's say stream number, ID, first name, last name. So here also I have stream number, first name, last name, and ID. Okay. So based on these column headers, it will stack vertically one after the other. So like here it is stream number in this data. So for like first column is a stream number. So the stream number would be stacked under stream number itself. Similarly, ID would be stacked under the ID, like this. The match will be automatically found. But when you do it by the position, so it's like based on the column position, it would do. Let's say if I combine it based on the position. And let's see what happens. See, here there was a mismatch in my data. So I have stream number in the first column and first name in the second column and ID as a last. But here I had ID as my second column and first name as my third column. So based on that, there's a mismatch of data you can see over here. Okay, because it has set on the basis of position. Position means the column position. Generally, the column, whatever the position of the column, based on that, it has stacked around. It has not checked if my first name is going under the ID column or not, or my ID is going under the last name or not. It has just stacked based on the column positions and everything. Okay, and finally, we have manually configure fields. So manually configure fields is like sort of a checking that after like unioning, if all the columns have been correctly stacked one after the other or not, or if something is wrong, then I can arrange it. I can reset it manually. So that's what it's like a sort of a checking purpose for it. Okay, now here we have two properties. Like for example, when field differ, either you can provide an error and stop the processing. You can have a warning that continue processing records, or you can ignore it. You have three options. You can like stop it if you have an error. So you can completely stop that workflow then and there. And if you don't want to stop it, you just want that there should only be a warning that should be generated, so you can do that. And if you want to like continue with it, so you can do that. Similarly, here also you have like two options. You want to output all the fields. You want to output like common subset of the fields. So if I just click on the common subset of the fields, so see the common fields which have been there, that the subset of the fields have been there, and we have not got all the columns. You can output the order, like you can specify the output order. For example, if I click on this, I get this two options, so I can say which one I want to output first, which one I want to output second. So like this is the first string, this is the second. I can say that first it will the order would be like this, like arrangement would be second and one. Like this would be stacked up. This the data in this file, and so this would be stacked under this file, like this. I can change for the positions if I want. Okay,
Okay.
so that's what the union tool is. Basically, stacking the data vertically. So it's sort of used whenever either you want to create a full outer join. Uh, so you can, after using a join, you can simply pull a union tool and combine the left and the join together to have a full outer join. And either if you want to like consolidate like three, four files into a single file, so you can do that. So that's the two scenarios where it comes into picture. A real life scenarios when you want to have a full outer join also, then you can also use that. Okay. Now moving on to these parse tools. So in this parse tools, we have like these four tools over here. So the first is your date and time. So date and time is nothing, but let's say you want to change the date and time in your data to a particular format, then you can do it with your date and time option over here. So like let's say I have a data where I have some join dates, I have some date of birth, I have last save date, last login date, login time, everything I have, and I just want to change my join. So I want something of a format like this, like month, date, and year. So I can specify basically on what date I want to combine it or whatever. So I've selected like this. If I wanted as let's say day, month, and year in this format, so I could show me in this format also.
Is there any possible to show the week number?
For week number, you have to put the formula. You can't do it over here. You have to pull a formula and you have to apply the week number.
Okay,
We
okay.
have a formula, and the formula tool you can pull the week number. So here you can see like Monday 10th whatever, like the it has shown the day and everything.
Yeah, so here we can't divide the months,
No, no, no,
dates of day. It's not possible
no.
here, correct?
You can't divide the date months in like this. For that, you have to use a formula. For example, from the join date, if I want to find the week number or something, so first I want to put a formula in this from left substring and right. I would just fetch the year, month, and date. And based on that, then I would apply a week number on it. Or maybe if I want to apply on the join date column only the week number, then I can simply pull the week number in the formula and I can apply that. So there
Okay.
are two ways generally. So for example, like let's say by default, Alteryx takes this format, year, month, and date. So that's the by default section where it would consider for a data as a date column only if consists of a format of year, month, and date in in a normal data set. So for example, here if you see now, so this is actually what is acceptable for Alteryx, year, month, and date. So if you enter this, then only it will show you as in the form of a date, like the data type would be a date. Apart from that, other would be everything would be string, v string, vw string, any of it, because it accepts only this. So let's say if you want to like bring it to this format or something from these type of like formats, you want to bring it to this format, or maybe from another format you want to bring it to the actual format of it. So there are two ways: either you can use it with a datetime format, or maybe you can pull a formula and divide the left, right, and join, and then create in another formula with the combinations of this left, substring, and right, and then combine all the three based on your requirements. Okay. You
Okay.
can also pull like custom specifications as well. For example, let's say for the join date, I don't want like this. I want it as mm, mm, like this. Also, you can create a custom whatever requirements according. If you don't like whatever is there in the format, you can create your custom formats based on that requirement. Okay. So this is one thing which we call as at daytime. But yes, for that question for sure, when you have these numbers or when you want to combine it, so I've given you as a real life scenario, I've given you two options. Like if you want to have a join date and you want to have a specific format, either you can do it with a datetime format, or maybe you can just go into the formula tool and you can use the date. You can use the datetime format. There also we have a formula as well for the datetime format, and based on that you can specify the formats. Or if you want like any column, like let's say the date of birth, I wanted as year, month, and date, the exact required column which Alteryx accepts. So for that also you can use the formula tool or maybe or this tool and pull it up as per your requirements. Okay.
Okay.
So I guess that's it for today. We'll continue tomorrow. I'll inform you if tomorrow I'll take a session or not. If it happen, I can take also. So I'll let you know about that. Okay. But
Okay.
yeah, if not
Please come.
tomorrow, just tomorrow we will surely be taking the test.